Dorset local authorities seem to be mugging off the residents through their council tax, and when I say seem to be, I mean in my opinion, based on what I've read. On the 16th of February this year, Dorset Council increased its council tax by the maximum amount permitted for the third year running without having to hold a referendum, meaning that people forced to pay have no say in the matter whatsoever. Now, you would expect that such an increase would mean that the council and other services who are paid by the precepts in your council tax are struggling and need additional funds to deliver the services that you as residents need and require. In this particular case, I think you might be wrong. For example, do you think that local councillors should earn more than MPs? Do you think that local government officials should earn more than the Prime Minister earns per year for his role as Prime Minister? I certainly don't think they should, but some of them are. The Taxpayers Alliance report on council staff earnings reveals that 26 workers at the Dorset Authority are on £100,000 plus per year. That's 8 more people than last year according to the same figures, bearing in mind that the basic annual salary for a Member of Parliament in the House of Commons is £81,932 as of April 2020, while Dorset Council Chief Executive Matt Prosser earns a whopping £198,000 per year, including pension contributions. Boris Johnson, on the other hand, gets paid to run the country into the ground for approximately £160,000 per year, nearly £40,000 less. Now, although the figures reveal 26 workers earning £100,000 plus, Dorset Council have disputed this and say that it's only 21 staff. Not that that makes much of a difference when the 20 odd people are still taking over £2 million worth while crying poverty. The Local Government Association document on pay policy and practices in local authorities, a guide for councillors, says that all councillors should be able to justify salary levels paid to senior staff and feel confident in the rationale underpinning these decisions. Personally, I find it hard to believe that any of them can justify this kind of wage while simultaneously increasing your precepts. In fact, Dorset Council has, compared to other regions, some of the biggest earners in the region, although Cornwall has the highest rate of overpaid good-for-nothings. The Taxpayers Alliance report states that across the country, the average for those receiving more than £150,000 at each council was just 2. However, in Dorset, with the salary and pensions combined, the number of staff with a remuneration of more than £150,000 was 7 people. They were Chief Executive Matt Prosser at £198,000 with a salary and pensions combined, Executive Director for Adults Vivian Broadhurst, Executive Directors for Children John Selgren and Teresa Levy, and Executive Director for Corporate Development Aidan Dunn, all on £142,000 plus £25,000 for their pensions annually. Director for Public Health Sam Crow received a £132,000 salary with a £24,000 pension contribution, and an undisclosed employee was the grateful, no doubt, recipient of a £152,500 salary. The report from the Taxpayers Alliance, which relied on some freedom of information requests, shows how Dorset Council failed to name 19 people who took more than £100,000 in yearly wages, and 18 of those they failed to disclose their official title within the local government. Dorchester councillor Andy Canning said, "I think people will be very concerned about the increase in senior staff. It is a large sum of money, and bearing in mind wages are low generally, it makes them some of the wealthiest people in the area. One of the points of the restructure was to save money, so it seems they have lost their focus." A spokeswoman for Dorset Council said the increase in employees earning more than £100,000 is attributable to the filling of a vacant post and the fact that we have moved 6 employees from NHS terms and conditions from Public Health Dorset to Council Chief Officer terms of conditions. There was no additional recruitment and the salaries of these individuals did not change as a result, so it's just a change in the way information is presented. Dorset Council is one of the largest councils in the country, a unitary authority responsible for both district and county council functions. Many areas of England still have the two-tier system with both county and district and borough councils. It is misleading to compare a large unitary council like Dorset Council with small district councils serving much smaller populations with a narrower range of services and statutory responsibilities. The size, complexity and statutory responsibility of Dorset Council are reflected in chief officers' salaries. Councillors set chief officers' salaries, having benchmarked them against other similar-sized authorities. The council has saved £10 million every year through the reduction of chief officers' posts made during the first year of operation, 2019 to 2020. For example, 4 chief executives from the legacy district and borough councils and the county council were replaced by 1 for Dorset Council. The spokesman added that they deliver 450 services to 380,000 residents, managing over 4,500 employees and a budget of more than £330 million. And when asked about streamlining senior management, they said they are continuing to review the senior management structure and reduce posts where necessary. So if the council have saved £10 million per year, where's that money going? Because it's not going back into serving the community, as precepts wouldn't have been hiked to the maximum allowed for the past 3 years. Now, as this channel is mainly about the police, let's not forget about those cretins who are building a new headquarters out of the money taxpayers pay, which has also seen the maximum increase allowed of the policing precept at a cost of, well, nobody knows, because Dorset Police Force say the costs of the new build were currently subject to an ongoing process which is commercially sensitive. I would suggest that any expenditure of public money fails to be sensitive when it's public money, that they are having their arm twisted for and having to choose between eating and heating because of the incredible increases in everything that the general member of the public has to suffer with, while those taking our money are paying themselves exorbitant wages. Councillor Peter Wharf of Dorset Council. Now, I don't know if he's one of those paid £100,000 a year or not, but he said he finds it rather odd that the force refuses to reveal the projected cost of the project, adding any building project we undertake, we have to go through the scrutiny process, reviewing cost estimates to make sure it ticks the right boxes. Dorset Police Force say that the current 60-year-old headquarters costs more to run than it would to knock down, which is their reasoning for spending an undisclosed amount of money on their new building. But the problem is, and we see this time and time again with police forces, a new better building does not mean a new better policing service. And I, for one, even here in Liverpool, am sick and tired of paying over the odds for services that fail to deliver time and time again. So for those of you living in Dorset who are paying exorbitant amounts of council tax and seeing people mug you off with their wages in the council and the police force paying an undisclosed amount for their new build, I genuinely feel sorry for you and think it is utterly disgusting. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.